Greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope you all had a great, restful evening. If you can hear me, if you can hear me clearly, give me a thumbs up or a high five or a number one or something to let me know that you can hear what I am saying. Basically, you are the system check. Let me say it that way. I check it on my end, but it always helps to have other people give their thumbs up as well. So otherwise, we will keep it moving. So here's what we got going on so far on today. For the pre-market, the Dow is down 0.35%. The Dow futures, that is. S&P futures is down 0.34%. NASDAQ futures down 0.51%. As of right now, um, inflation data is going to hit this week. And we are also in the midst of our earnings. Good morning, Karen. Europe last reported DAX was the only one up. The European markets are lower. FTSE was down 0.69%. CAC was down 0.11%. FTSE Milano down 0.28%, and Stock 600 down 0.37%. UK insured direct line soars 25% on takeover talk. So we got another major takeover happening worldwide. For Asia, markets also mostly lower. Good morning, Janae and Marcia. ASX 200 down 0.03%. The Nikkei down 0.08%. Kospi was up 1.04%. The only one up. HSI was down 1.51%. And Shanghai was down 1.91%. Ain't that something? Good morning, Adrian Dupree. Look at that. Janae, Marcia, Karen, we in the house. For the stocks futures, actually, this is for the rate, not the futures. We did those already. But currently for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, down 0.49%. S&P 500 down 0.28%. NASDAQ 0.39%. And the Russell 2K is up 1.34%. And the VIX is up 2.16%. So we got some things already happening. But again, the fresh data for inflation is part of the overall picture that is going to be happening. So that is going to be a huge factor. All right. Today being Wednesday, let's pop into these earnings because some of that is a factor in what's happening. So we had before open, we had Baidu, Novavax, Advanced Auto Parts, TJX. I'm not even sure what this one right here is. Can't really read that, but Beatrice, TG Therapeutics, ACM, Fulgent, and Golden Ocean. That was all before open. After close today, we got Marathon, Snowflake, Salesforce, AMC, C3AI, Paramount, Okta, IonQ, I don't know what WW is, and HP, which of course also means there should be some movement in the tech sector. I'm not saying which direction it'll be, but tomorrow morning we should have a little something happening. Before open tomorrow is Celsius, Canadian Natural, Melco, Best Buy, Kronos Group, Polestar, Birkenstock, AB Bev, or shall I say Bud, Bath and Body Works, which I can't believe is still around and doing something, and Six Flags. So, um, good morning, Lynn, Love, Grace, Lisa, Henry, Alyssa, and we got also, so that's before open Thursday after close. More tech, Z Skeller, Soundhound. This is after close tomorrow. Fisker, Dell, Ginkgo Bioworks, Autodesk, Viva, Green Brick, Nate App, and Hewlett Packard. So if you are trading XLK, SOXL, SMH, maybe not SOXL so much, but definitely XLK and Triple Q, you definitely want to be paying attention because the closing of the next 2 days has a lot of tech related stuff that is buried within it. So you want to definitely watch out for that. AMC is trying to do their thing, but who knows. But also after close today, we got Marathon and C3 AI, and both of those are tied into Bitcoin. So you want to make sure if you are trading, I got out of CLSK yesterday, but so because of these two, if you are in like Bitfarm, Riot, Marathon, CLSK, I think it's BTBT. You want to be paying attention to those and checking those today and tomorrow, but definitely today, because there might be some movement over there as well. So just a heads up. All right. This was a gap down. This is the SPX on the 15-minute chart. And for those of you doing the breakout, so well, we'll just bring this down here for right now. And then we'll take a look and see what Mancini had to say, and we'll mark that. But the fact that this was a gap down today, we definitely want to acknowledge that this gap happens, and you never know, it very well might push up and do its thing, fill it, who knows. But if you are charting if you are charting for the breakout, obviously you want to give it a little bit of time before you do anything, because we are just now getting into the mix. Yesterday, at 15 minutes, it's about here. It broke out and kept on going. So there was nothing up, I guess you could say, on yesterday. So we'll see what happens today. We're waiting for data, so ain't no telling how that's going to pan out. We'll do Mancini since we're already here. Yesterday saw an awful day of chop in SPX before dipping to 50.57 support. I was looking for a rally to 50.79.83 target, and we ran there exactly late day, then made full round trip back. Plan today, 50.57 support, tested. If it keeps 50.71, 50.79 through 84 is live. If 50.57 fails, deep flush, we would a flush, Jesus. 50.49 to 50.37. All right, so our main number is going to be 50.57, which is the Mancini number. Dude said flush. Wow. All right. It's real bad if you bringing toilets into it. 50.57. So 50.57 is right here. This is around the lowest point of yesterday. So this is the point where if it breaks through there, it can continue down. If you need the number that is higher, the highest number that he had in this bunch, and the lowest number is highest number is 5084, and the lowest number is 5037. All right, 5084 and 5037. All right. We have for Forex Factory. This was reported so far. The first red folder for today was the preliminary GDP quarter over quarter, which was less than forecast. An orange folder, and this was all at 8:30. Preliminary GDP price index quarter over quarter was, I guess, the same. You could say there was no negative change. Goods balance was a yellow folder. That was less than what they wanted in terms of forecast. Preliminary wholesale inventories month over month was slightly better than forecast. That was a yellow folder as well. At 10:30, we have the crude oil inventories. That is a yellow folder. And we also have all day today an orange folder. This is important to say. Orange folder all day is the G20 meetings. Okay. Why am I repeating that? Because you got to remember that just because there's nothing happening for the rest of the day, anything could be getting announced during these G20 meetings. We have no idea what they're going to be talking about. And so that stuff is going to could potentially impact the market, especially since the G20 meetings is involving global. That's a global leaders are getting together. So to be honest with you, I hope they start fighting like they be doing over there in Asia during some of their meetings, but that's a whole different thing. At noon today, we have the FOMC member Bostic is speaking. That's a yellow folder. And then at 12:45, the FOMC member Williams speaks. All right. So that's the yellow folder as well. So we have those two. Those are the last two, quote unquote, if you want to say major things happening at noon. But that G20 meeting is definitely something to keep an eye on. And I'm pretty sure you'll get breaking news popping up throughout the day, talking about, different things that happen. Hello there. Good morning, Hip Hop Cafe, Lady T. Who was that? Sizzling. That was my favorite breakfast bacon growing up. So anyway, so we got we did the Forex Factory over here, and then we have the this is our investing.com. Again, a lot of these have already been reported. I won't go over all of these because it was way more than that was in the other. Actually, I'll go through some of these because these wasn't the exact same. The mortgage applications was at 7 o'clock. That was 1 star. Less than anticipated. Now, and also the 30-year mortgage rates was as well. So this was the 30-year mortgage rate is week over week. The mortgage application is week over week. The NBA purchase index. A lot of these, if it's over here and it's in black, that means it was, I guess, considered unchanged. So we can say that for the purchase index, the mortgage market, and the mortgage refinance. Here's the thing, though. So the core PCE prices for quarter 4 was better than forecast, which was 1 star. Also 3 stars for the GDP quarter over quarter. Quarter 4, it was a little less than what was forecast. 2 stars for the GDP price index quarter over quarter. That was a little bit better than forecast. And the GDP sales for quarter 4, 1 star, better than forecast. The good trades balance for January, not as well as forecast, which is 2 stars. PCE prices 1.8%, better than forecast, 1 star, as well as real consumer spending, which was better than forecast. That was 1 star. Real inventories, excluding auto for January, is about the same, 2 stars. And then 8:30, the wholesale inventories month over month. Now this is green, but it was the same as forecast, so this must have been good if they marked it there. That was 1 star as well. And then for the rest of these, we have a lot of crude oil inventory. What shall I say? We have a lot of oil based data that has come in this 1030 time frame. The 3 stars is the crude oil inventories. Then you have the EIA refinery crude runs week over week, crude oil imports, the Cushing crude oil inventories, and anytime you see Cushing crude oil inventories, especially on investing.com, that's usually 2 stars. Crude oil inventories is usually 3, and the inventories is usually 2 stars. Anytime I've seen it. Distillate fuel production, the EIA weekly distillate stocks, those are both 1 star. Gasoline production, 1 star. Heating oil stockpiles, also 1 star. The EIA weekly refinery utilization rates week over week, 1 star. And this is all happening at 1030. And, the gasoline inventories, 1 star. And then Bostic Speaks, this is 2 star over here. Collins Speaks at noon is when Bostic Speaks. 12:15, Collins Speaks, and Williams Speaks at 12:45. But the thing to note is that here at noon and 12:45, over here on investing.com is 2 stars. But on the other one, it was like a yellow folder. So that's one of the reasons why we look at both of these. That's not to say that one is right and one is wrong, but it's more to say that investing.com tends to give a lot more in-depth notes, I guess you could say, about some stuff that the other one doesn't report. So these two, I mean, whether you see it as 2 stars or not, this is what they're reporting. So we will take this into account. The reason why this is significant to me, though, is because remember on the other one, we got the orange folder for the G20 happening all day. At the same time, this is reporting the 2-star event around noon and 12:45. So that is definitely something to be paying attention to when it comes to trading for the day. That's why I said this could fluctuate in any direction. But definitely that noon time frame. Usually that's when New York goes to lunch anyway, so things kind of slow down. So it is what it is from that standpoint. All right. Let's swing back and check on where we are for right now on SPX. So it has dropped down to this buyer zone area and has pushed up with the same thing that it did on yesterday when it got down here. It has not broken out yet. So it is still doing its work, trying to do what it do. All right. If anybody has any tickers that they want looked at, feel free to drop those in before we part ways. Good morning, B. Spencer. Nankali Rubuche. That sounds very, very royal. So we're going to keep an eye on this for the rest of the time that we are here and see what happens. I would say it'll be interesting to see what happens for that 10 o'clock turnaround. I'll say it that way. J&J Contract Furniture. Good morning, John Godwin. Good morning. All right. Alyssa is on the call currently, and first of all, happy birthday to Alyssa. And is it Longhorn? What was the name of the restaurant that you like?
Outback.
That's right. Outback. So shout out to Alyssa and happy birthday. She likes Outback. She likes motorcycles. She does not like sharing her office space.
I'm saying things all out in my office. My husband's like, "Well, there's no more room for me in here." No.
Yes, dude got pushed out.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, so Outback is her favorite restaurant. So if y'all would cards, I would imagine she also likes T1 calculators, being a math professor.
Oh goodness.
Straight up T1 math, T1 calculators. But anyway, how are you doing today on your birthday, Alyssa?
I'm doing good so far. I taught a class this morning, and that's always adventurous. We have an opportunity for the students to it's called a step back program. So let's say we've taken two tests in our college algebra class, and the first test is pretty much review, and the second one gets into material. But we have two more tests. Anyway, the opportunity is if they're failing, like, and how about a failing grade is a 58, which to me, I thought failing was definitely higher than that. But if you got a 58, you got a D, right? So if you got a 58 or below, you're failing the class at this point, 2 weeks, two tests in. So they have the opportunity to step back to a lesser math, and, not to impact their financial aid. They get basically will get an I in my class, and then they'll learn some more stuff. And then that grade will replace this grade. I mean, I see it as a wonderful opportunity for people who, are already failing after two tests in, right? Because the test is only going to get harder. I'm not, we building on stuff. If you're struggling after two tests, then, and we also offer, you take a test, you can do a reassess. Basically, you can retest. And so you've taken a test, reassess for the test, and you're still not passing. So I had maybe 6 or 7 students who are in the first class who had the opportunity to go into this step back opportunity, because it's an opportunity, right? And I mean, I literally have students who have like a 39 average, a 45 average, who walk up when in their full phase and be like, I think I'm going, I don't want to take the step back. I think I can do it. But you got a 58, you got a 40 something average right now. And you sitting in my class right now looking like you lost. And you don't think okay, no problem, thank you. What are you going to do different is what I ask. But I'm just like, are we delusional? Like, am I delusional? I had to ask myself, am I the one who's delusional to think that this is an opportunity, or that a person who has a 30 something average right now feels like they're going to recover enough to pass in the next 6 weeks? Or maybe I'm delusional. What do you think? I don't think I'm delusional.
I just want to be clear on what you're asking me to respond to. Let me just make sure I understand what part of this am I answering?
Like, what's the question? Are you asking me
Right.
if
I
I'm
want to make sure.
delusional or
Right. I don't need no type of blowback on my answer.
no blowback? I don't want no blowback when
Uh,
I say I'm just
I I don't think most of this generation lives in what I would consider to be reality. I don't. Um, I don't. It's the levels of what I would say. I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it. I've seen so much stuff that I'm like, what are we? I feel like I'm like, maybe we wasn't raised on the same planet. That's what I'm starting to feel like. Like, there's no way that y'all serious. But they are. They,
yeah, yeah. I very clearly told one student, I said, when we get to the end of this semester, please don't ask me or beg me to do anything different than what you earn in this class, because I'm not.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
It's almost like it's. I think so. I won't get on the soapbox on this, but I think what's probably irritating me is like everybody. Like I'm starting to hate the phrase "greatest of all time." I'm starting to hate that phrase
you why?
because this generation seems to be in that mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna be the greatest without putting in the work to do it. Right?
Well,
It's like, nah,
yeah,
player, that's false confidence, man. It's like you
yeah.
want to shine, but you don't want the grind, and
The
those two
grind. Oh,
go
that's
together.
good. I like the shine, but you don't want the grind.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they at with it. It's oh yeah, you want to like you on top, but you don't want to put in the work. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that somebody could be averaging a D and then feel like, oh, I can do this, my dude. No, you're
Failing.
not doing it now.
Right. You're not even averaging a D. You're failing right now. Like literally,
No,
like big failing. Like you have a solid F.
no,
Solid. Solid.
yeah,
Remember that song? Okay. You have a solid F.
right.
And
And in Sesame Street, that F would be for non-functional, right? they'll just highlight the F will be in capital letters and non will
I'm
be in
like,
small
are
letters.
you
Non-functional.
serious?
It's not
Are
working for you,
you
baby.
serious? I'm
It's
just
not
like,
working for you.
wow, this is again, let's see. They might say I was delusional. Let's see. Maybe somebody in the comments said said you are delusional. I'm glad I was born today. Thank you. Birthday cake smoothies. Yep, that's my plan. It's the entitlement. Oh, that's good, Lynn. The entitlement. Can y'all hear me? It is the entitlement that I mean, it's weird. It's weird to me. It's really weird to me. But
It is. I think they. Listen. What I feel, what scares me is the fact that these are the jokers that's going to be in the workforce. That's what concerns me. I'm like, oh, this is who we going to be employing, everybody. In case y'all ain't paying
yeah,
attention.
yeah. I saw a thing the other day that said that said we're not gonna have no plumbers and carpenters and doctors and lawyers because everybody's gonna be an influencer.
Basically, pretty much. Forget the skilled trades. That's out.
Yeah, yeah, everybody's gonna be an influencer. So uh it's what it is. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to take us down the rabbit hole of my stories, but my birthday's good. It's off to a grand start.
Sounds like it.
Off to a grand start. It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great day. In my community this evening, we are, and my plan at this point, I don't know what my family is trying to do, but the plan is that in our community this evening, we will have our question and answer this evening where we'll go through some different question and answer sort of things. We'll do that. I mentioned yesterday that we would do, um, I was going to open up a program to make sure that we could do our, what do we call it? The options 411. I've decided to do it as, let me bring this back up. I decided to do it as a 3 week challenge, 3 day challenge, not 3 week, a 3 day challenge first, and then that'll lead into the full thing. But it gives us the opportunity to do the challenge. There we go. Gives us the opportunity to do the challenge for those who are just looking to get more knowledge about doing options. Some people are pretty sure they want to learn knowledge, and some people don't want to learn options, and other people are not sure what that really includes or entails. So this is up and ready on my website. Basically, we're going to do a 3 day challenge first. You basically will learn some options, quick start, basic options lingo, brokers, and all that. We'll have some things that are lined out for us to do for those in the 3 day challenge. We'll, of course, get you to make a little bit of money so you can pay for the challenge. I'll give you an opportunity. I'll give you something that will help you to make money back to cover the cost of the challenge. And then we'll lead that into a 4 to 6 week more live coaching. So for those of you who are looking to learn more about options and want to do it with us and in such a way that it's going to be delivered to you where you can comfortably learn it, then we're going to have that open. It's open now. Go to educatortotrader.com and you can go ahead and get yourself all signed up and lined up to start learning options really. All right. All righty. That is in the works. It's ready. We're just going. I put a date on it yesterday. Today, I think it was this morning. As I was waking up, it came back up to my it rolls back up because usually y'all know that in those waking hours when you're just waking up, it's when, for me, that's when stuff can actually come through. My brain has so much going on that during the day sometimes ideas come in and they run right back out, but when I'm waking up, those ideas seem to be able to come all the way through and land and say, okay, let's do this. So here we are. If you're going to join up with that, definitely go to educatortotrader.com and get yourself signed up for us to hang out. All right. If you join the monthly plan, yeah, that's a good question. John said I was going to join the monthly. When all of the people in the membership have access to all the things that I do. So if you're a part of the membership as a paid member of the membership, then you are like quote unquote grandfathered into all the programs and all the little challenges, all the fun stuff we do. You get grandfathered in. So joining the membership would definitely be a way to do that, and then you can partake of all the stuff that we do. That's how that works. Okay. Yes, you will. And you're never just a member. My members are like the epitome of my community. The members are like the be all end all for me. People we have into the general world are people who are like generally checking us out. They're curious. But the members mean I've signed up, I put my money on the wood, and I'm hanging out with you, Arlissa. So the members for me are never just a member. I know you didn't mean it like that, John, but the members to me are of utmost importance. That's where I spend my time, my energy, my resources, my good coaching. It goes to my members. My good coaching goes to my members. All right. Go ahead, Jamie. Take over.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, people. So how do I get my screen back now that you done took over the screen?
There you go.
Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. You're welcome, me.
Okay, somebody had requested we look at Carvana, and so I'm gonna blow this up as big as I can. Um, so here's what's going on. This was a gap up, buyer's gap, February 22nd, and it is already respecting this area, and looks like it's trying to continue up. So in this case, what the first thing that I noticed is that inside of this gap there is this area right here where it has been where it has been it had that turn and started dropping right here, and then came to the same spot. So when it blew past this right there, it was going to take some energy to get past that. And so this particular resistance point, I would consider this to be a stronger area, like in a 59 zone. So I'm going to put this on right here. I think it will come down to this zone and possibly do some type of bouncing. Meaning unless something else happens and it just craters right through there. But I would expect, so we'll say 60. We'll say in this 60 zone. I'll say 59, 60. Could be anywhere in here because it turned around more than once, actually. Well, I won't even get into all that. So let's just say 59, 60 zone. So if it comes back down, it could very well bounce off the top of this gap. And if it comes down further, I would expect it to bounce off here. So this could definitely be, in my estimation, a support area if it continues through. But as of right now, it's this is on the daily chart and is trying to push up. This is a seller zone right here that is from way back here. It's marked. It's already pushed in there and it's starting pushing back out. This is from April of 2022. All right, April of 2022. So there's a couple different ways I've seen people chart this. The way I charted was a chair, leg in, base, leg out. And I mainly did it that way because if we were to go like this, let's say, well, I guess you could say, if you try to include these two here, it would be leg in, two in the base, but that is what we call a weak leg out. But the next one next to it is a stronger leg out. So I just included that one in there. And if you were to do it this way, would make any sense because we got to include the range of this particular wick within the within that formation. So that's how I came to the conclusion it would be this. But there was a little bit of a gap right here when there's still some more gap left for this to go into. So if I was to put this on my chart, the purple line is for gaps. So if I was to put this here, let's say, it's very well likely where it bounced off recently could be the high point of this little bit in here. Let's check it out. And that is what happened over here. So when it bounced off yesterday, it was right into that gap. It bounced off that gap zone right there and came out. That's not to say that it is done trying to move up. It looks like it's still trying to push. So my personal suggestion would not be trying to do, not today anyway, trying to do a call credit spread up here. I'll be a little bit wary of that just because it is, looks like it is still trying to push its way up. Yeah, that's just my take on that. So as of right now, though, yeah, that's what I have. Buyer's gap here. And down here, I would say I'll probably do this and put this in here. Did you explain what your favorite meal at the Outback is? Because I don't think you ever talked about that. Alyssa.
My favorite meal at the Outback is the Alice Springs chicken.
The who?
Alice Spring Alice Springs chicken. So it is a chicken breast with that is, they say, marinated in honey mustard, and it has bacon, mushrooms, and cheese on top. And then they give you some more honey mustard, like as a dipping sauce. It's a grilled chicken breast that has honey mustard, bacon, cheese, and mushrooms, and with honey mustard to dip. It's really good, and I usually eat it with the French fries that I get with the spicy ranch. You can dip those in. That's my favorite meal there.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I apologize for judging, but I do have to ask why you are going to a steak place and getting chicken.
Because this is one thing I've run into when you get steak out and about. I am a ribeye fan, right? Ribeye is the steak I really like. I do find that when you go into several restaurants, that when you start doing the quality don't be there, and the way they cook it don't be right. Now, if you go to some place like like a Charlie, not Old Charlie's, like a Charlie's or a Ruth's Chris or somewhere that does steak well, then you'll do well on the ribeye. But generally, if you go into like an Outback place, the ribeye, and I'm not saying they're not good, it's just sometimes I feel like I can do a better ribeye at home because of course at home I cook it the way I like it. So I don't fix Alice Springs chicken at home, but I do cook ribeye at home. So I feel like if I'm going to go there, I want to get something that I wouldn't normally cook at home.
Okay.
And no, don't you judge, because that's would be wrong to judge.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Oh,
You are the CEO of your own taste buds. So okay, I got you're the, you're the CEO of your own taste buds. I'm going to take a picture of Carvana, and we're going to be putting this in our Telegram group real quick. But so we got the April 22nd is the seller zone with the tiny bit of a gap that it is bouncing out of. I know that there are people who prefer credit spreads. I mean, call credit spreads specifically. So let me see. The ATR for Carvana is 589. So I definitely would be, and well, I'm not gonna get into all that. The ATR is 589. If you're trying to do a call credit spread, I would not do it close. I will say that. If we are looking at, I'm already actually in this. This is Thinkorswim. So the what we're calling broker plus minus is 4.5. So if you were to add that 4.5, that would be 85.9. She want to do 86 at the very least. Oops. You got to add some more in here. Did I do that right? 85. We missing some. What am I missing here? When is March 1st is coming up, right? Maybe
it's Friday.
something is off. Because
What's
it's
off?
running out of 85. What's happening here?
It's like it's jumping between one spread and 0.5 spread.
Yeah. Try something. Let me see. Let's switch it to something else. And switch it back. Carvana. Yeah, that's Carvana. I don't know what that's all about. These are all the strikes. So there might be something wrong with. There could just be an issue with Thinkorswim simulated trading right now. That's what I'm thinking.
What problem are you running into?
Because the broker plus, so if the current price is 81, the broker plus minus is 4. I can't see. I have the strike set to all, but I can't see anything past 80.
When I'm on Carvana, I see the broker plus minus at 7.1. Yeah, I don't see it as 4. Give me a second. Have a seat.
That's weird.
And I don't see those 0.5s. Are you sure you're on Carvana?
This is what it says in the corner, CV and A, right?
But I don't have any 0.5s.
Okay, well then, I guess there is something wrong with at least my version of it anyway. But as of right now, it is still trying to push up into the seller zone, and it is still bouncing off that gap. So all I was going to do was just look and see what the premiums were for it. What is that? If you are looking at call credit spread, if you're using Jamie's money versus Arlissa's money, let me say it that way, because Arlissa like to get close. For the credit spread, I will be looking at 73.74 right now, which is paying about $15 premium currently. So if you're looking at Carvana. Now, again, for whatever reason, mine is not showing the all the numbers, but at the very least, I'll be going by 74. I will be doing down here. Well, it's showing up as down here, but 73, 74 will be in here. I'll be under. I would not be doing above just because I'm thinking that it might continue to try to push up. But since it is hitting a point where it may turn around, that's the only concern I will have about this for right now. But I will definitely watch this for the rest of the day for sure. Just to be on the safe side. Somebody said SSP Hip Hop Cafe says maybe because it's simulated. That could be very well it. I usually don't have any problems with I usually don't have any problems with mine. So this is new. But we also want to look at XSP and somebody wants to look at Google. So we'll say XSP. SXP is going to look similar to SPX just because they are both based on the S&P 500. What happened recently was it created a seller zone up here. So we're going to move this up. Seller zone, leg in, base, leg out right here. And it also gapped up. So this would be a buyer's gap as well. And we're going to mark this buyer's gap. Okay, buyer's gap. Right there. I'm even going to put a buyer's gap. Whoops. Buyer's gap. The purple. We're going to take a picture of this and put it in the Telegram group as well. So kind of by default, what ends up happening is you have so this is the seller zone up here. Let me mark that. Then I'm going to mark the buyer zone. You can at least see what's going down. Buyer zone. So we got all three. We'll have all three zones on this one. All right. So there's a couple things you can do right here. Since this did gap up, so it created this space in here. And we're going to show the price on the right so you can see it. So give you an idea of what the prices are that we are looking at. So this is this one down here is 40.92 at the bottom. Okay, so we got a couple things we can do right here in terms of formations. This can be a leg in, this red one, leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. Okay, so that will look like this. Leg in, 2 in the base, leg out, because that's the gap up right there. So that's one way of looking at that. All right. So you will have your buyer zone here, right? Leg up, and then this same leg up, the gap up, and this leg out would be your leg in, base, leg out. So you have now these zones I would consider them to be, closer together in terms of the chart. This is about 498. So this is about $20 from this zone to this zone. And this is about $4 right here. something like that. And it is falling down, and I would expect it to stop at about this 503, 502 area. When I say stop, I just mean it might bounce. It may bounce off of here anyway, just because it's a gap, and it may bounce off that gap because it's a buyer's gap. But also, it's one of those parity lines. This might be support now, so this will definitely be a zone to watch in terms of what could happen right about right about in here, but it still has this amount that it's going to want to fill at some point. So as of right now, it has not hasn't even come back to touch this the top of this gap yet. But this is the what I would look at. I'm gonna take a picture of this real quick and try it again. I'm gonna show you the other way. I'm gonna show you the other way that this could be charted, which is very similar. All right, so we'll just do it this way. Get some numbers in. Take a picture. Okay. So the other way you can also chart this is to chart this one next to it. All right. So in this case, what it is I'm trying to pull this down. Open this up a little bit. So in this case, you'll be doing this gap. This will be considered a gap down from here to here. So this would be considered a leg in, right? One in the base and the leg out. So like a V formation would be right here. What you have right here then will be just one revisit to this zone, right? So this would be your buyer zone right here, and then this would still be your seller zone right here. I've seen it charted both ways, so I like to acknowledge all the ways I've seen it charted. Both of those should be valid. So all you're really doing is just adjusting this line and making this one revisit. Now, I personally prefer this one just because it is closer to current price. So that's why it works for me. And yeah, that's a $5 risk right here. This may not even be a 3-to-1 anyway. So I won't get into all that, but that's the other way that I've seen this charted. So I want to make sure I acknowledge that as well. That's for SXP. I'm looking at the chat box and I don't see any questions quite yet. So I will move on to Google. Take a picture of this. All right. Okay. I'm in Google, I believe. I'm gonna have to check it. So Google is in a buyer zone. Google is in a buyer zone. The last time it came here, it was a very strong push out on this buyer zone. This price point in here is active. It has been support and resistance quite a bit since last year. So no telling what can happen at this point. Meaning it could bounce out again, or it could start moving on up. But if we're just doing our, let's say, standard formations, if you're doing this one, I would be doing leg in, base, leg out. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit more, just a little bit more. Let's do it this way. So you got leg in, base, leg out, right here. And then you have leg in, two. I got two in the base, which this would be here. Leg in, two in the base, leg out. So this is your buyer zone. This is your seller zone. But this zone has been revisited. This is the second time it's revisiting this zone. So that's the thing to pay attention to in this situation. As a matter of fact, what I'll do, I'm gonna switch this color scheme up just a little bit to acknowledge that it is currently in this zone. So it is in the buyer zone right now, and it's gonna do it this way. And we'll label these. So we'll go seller zone. I'll just put SZ for seller zone. Ugh, come on. All right. Go seller zone. And in the buyer zone, so I'll put in the buyer zone, in a buyer zone. All right. And then we'll put, I'll just call this one buyer zone 2. Buyer zone 2. Whoops. We'll do it that way. So seller zone, it's in the buyer zone, and I would say this would be buyer zone 2 leg in. There's more than one way to do this as well. Leg in, base, leg out is how I'm doing it. But I've also seen it done this way. And then all of these are in the base. It's not how I would do it, but leg in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these in the base, and then leg out. I've seen it done that way as well. I prefer this one. While I do prefer a stronger leg in and stronger leg out, in this case, I would definitely be okay with this formation. I like this one down here better, to be honest with you. It more so fits what the formations that I look for. But all that being said, in the buyer zone, in seller zone, and so we will acknowledge this. And we include the numbers in here. All right, so we'll drop these in our Telegram group. Real quick, let's swing back and look at SPX. The 15-minute chart. All right, so far we had the gap down, and so we are well past 45 minutes in. There has not been a breakout yet of the 15-minute. So the first 15 minutes that happened, there has not been a breakout, but we are acknowledging that it has tried to push into this gap. So for those who are doing the breakout, I know different people do it different ways, but So far, I don't see anything other than it looks like it's trying to move up, but um, it hasn't really gone outside of that. So we are still in the mix on that. If you are looking at Google, however, since somebody brought up Google and we did chart it. By the way, in case you are not aware, there are some differences between GOOG and GOOGL. Those are not the exact same thing. The difference in the background is in terms of the stock itself is like one of the stocks gives you voters' rights and the other one doesn't. But I can tell you from experience that they move similarly, but recently we found out they're not the exact same because one of them, when it closed, it closed and the trade was good, and the other one closed and it was like not the exact same closing number. So one of us in the community was in GOOG, the other is GOOGL, and yeah, that's when we found out it wasn't the exact same setup. One person was like, "That trade was good." The other was like, "No, it wasn't." And yeah, they both were right. So I'm gonna put this in gap. I forgot to add that in there. This was a gap up here as well. So there's some resistance. If you wanted to, if you were looking at Google, there's also a gap right here between these two. There's a gap right there as well. We got quite a few gaps on this. All right, so I'm gonna move this over so it won't be. I would probably first be looking to go above. Probably since it's going down, I'll be looking at a call credit spread. What is this? So I'll be looking at this is not investment advice. I'm just showing you what the numbers would be. So 136.22, which is current price, plus 2.7 is 138.92. All right. So what I did was I just added current price to this number here, which is the volatility number. We call it the broker plus minus. It has a plus minus here. So that gives us the higher number. And if you subtract it, 136 from 2.7, that'll give you the lower number. Again, we're on Thinkorswim. So 138.92 was the number above. So I would have to be above that number. 138.92. So we could say 139. I'll say 139. Since we are sellers, that means that we want this trade to expire out the money. And so that's what that's what this column is. So at 139, this is saying that there's an 80% chance that this strike will expire out the money, which is what I needed to do. And since it's a call credit spread, I would need it to be below, needed to expire below 138.92, or in this case, 139, because I am doing a call credit spread. So we're just going to go, and actually, let me show you this too real quick. So 139, this is a 70. Well, this keeps changing. If it was 80%. There's another way to also analyze this trade, which probably be way too long for this call. But if you use Thinkorswim, when you get into a trade, you can When you put your trade together, you can right click over here and click on analyze trade, and it'll take you here. And I switch this to probability out the money, which is what I need. But all you're really doing is you're looking for 139 is what we had. So what this is basically saying is when you look for 139, which is right somewhere in here. So the number above just says I have an 85% chance of keeping my money. That's what that means. You gotta make sure you switch it to out the money though, but you find the amount 139 is mine. The amount that percentage above, that's the percentage I have of keeping this of this trade going good. So that's why I would feel comfortable, even though this is simulated. That's why I would feel comfortable doing this trade. And I'm gonna put YouTube AM. And all right. Alyssa, you got anything else you need to add?
No, I don't think I have anything else to add.
All right. So make sure there are no other tickers that I see. I do not see any more tickers. I see XSP.
Oh, sorry, I think I'm still unmuted, and that's probably loud.
Somebody mentioned Weight Watchers. What is that for?
You were saying you didn't know what the WW was on the earnings, and I was telling you that was Weight Watchers.
Oh. Oh, I thought you. I thought that. I thought that had something to do with Outback. I'm like, what? I was saying that. I thought that was saying that. I thought that was saying that the meal was a Weight Watchers meal.
No. That was the.
All right. Yeah, I don't see any other tickers that need to be looked at, so we should be good. We'll swing back around to SPX again before we bounce out of here. 15-minute. Still has not broken out. It's trying though to get past since it has that gap. It's definitely trying to push up through that gap. So yeah, 5071 is where I would expect something to happen pretty soon, but we'll see. Just tread lightly, and don't forget we still got things getting sprinkled throughout the morning, especially with the G20 stuff happening. So personally, I don't even get into all that. So we'll do our E2T daily declaration. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that sound, but the trade that I just put in, the Google trade, just got accepted. So that's what that sound was. And all right, we got by faith I'm a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolio. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. The E2T daily prayer, Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. All right, people. We are at the 10 o'clock turnaround time frame, right? It's 10:30. So, keep your head on the swivel. Ain't no telling what's going to happen with G20. And as always, stay green and get this money. And we will see you all later in the market. Alrighty? Alrighty. Happy birthday, Mrs. Pinkleton.
Gracias, mi hermano.